Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Mom Talk. We wanted to talk today about torticollis, which is pretty much just limited rotation in the neck, very common in newborns. And with that, along with plagiocephaly, which is flattening of newborn's head. We wanted to talk about ways we can, of course, work on it here at the office, but also what we can do outside in between our chiropractic appointments as well.
The biggest thing is tummy time. Tummy time, tummy time, tummy time. I can't say it enough. A lot of people think tummy time is once a day. That's absolutely false. Every single time that baby is awake, they need to have tummy time. And tummy time's not about being on your tummy for a long amount of time, but more consistent. So every time they're awake, put them on their belly. When they cry, pick them up. Next time when they're awake, put them on their belly. So consistently doing tummy time will definitely help.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, tummy time can look like a lot of different things. It doesn't just have to be on the floor. It can be chest to chest with you or your husband or whoever's taking care of this baby. It can be holding the baby on their belly, on your forearm, and having them off the back of their head. It can look like lots of different things where that baby is not always on the back of the head or stuck in one position or the other. Now, if we are having a range of motion issue that's not quite full-blown torticollis, it would be good for you guys to turn baby's head periodically while they're sleeping, making sure that we're not favoring one side. If we're in a car seat for a lot of the time, doing the same thing, those things can help with maintaining good range of motion on both sides.
With that, it's also, some babies have a favorite parent or a toy or a binky or something. So it's also something you can do easily is either stand or have them, whoever is their favorite or their toy or whatever, on the opposite side. So that way, if you need to leave the room or something, you're able to have them stay a certain way to help that range of motion. Also, obviously going both ways too, to keep the range of motion equal on both sides, but that's an easy way to keep them going on both sides instead of just having to turn their head along with it, if that makes sense.
Especially when they're sleeping, if they're always sleeping on that right side and we start to get that flattening of the head, we always tell moms or whoever just to kind of rotate the head the opposite way, stretch out that muscle. The more contracted that muscle is going to be, the more they're going to favor it, and then the more that the head's going to flatten on that one side. So pick up the head and move it the other way if you can.
And talking about sleeping, our trick at our house is we would take the pacifier and we would put it to one side, whatever side the baby's looking at. So the next time we lay that baby down, we know which way we need to turn it to. Because sometimes it's not just you putting down the baby. So everybody needs to be on the same page of what way we put the baby down last time. So next time we turn it, it's very important. You know, these babies right now, they're just so moldable. And so we have to pay attention and everybody has to be on the same page as turning those heads.
Yeah, that goes for feeding too. If you're a nursing mom and you're exclusively breastfeeding, keeping a hair tie on one wrist or the other to remember which side you fed on last time is a good trick. If you bottle feed, it's really important not to just feed with your dominant hand, because then you're just going to be always in one position feeding, and we start to see some flattening happening there, some range of motion issues happening when we only feed on one side. Now, it is kind of beneficial if you have parents that are like left-handed and right-handed. So like I was left-handed, my husband was right-handed. That was easier. But you have to pay attention, especially if you guys have the same dominant hand, that you are intentional with feeding on different sides, even if we are bottle fed.
And it's important to remember that this can even happen in utero too. We're earth side for however many months, but we're also growing and developing in the womb too, and all that can favor preference to one side or just kind of favoring the body in a certain way.
Especially if you see a baby or feel a baby that does not move a lot, always stuck in one position, we most likely will see a case of torticollis right away. So getting those babies checked right away is super important. And piggybacking on exercises on the baby, I would always get in the habit when I changed my baby's diaper just to stretch their head just a little bit. I always would take their chin to the shoulder, and then their ears to the shoulder, just kind of move the head. Again, these babies are so moldable right now that we got to keep everything moving most of the time.
And obviously, we're doing that very gently. You're not going to force it. If it seems like the baby doesn't want to do that, then we'll try again next time. You want to make sure that you are very, very gentle. We're not
Or bring him in.
forcing something. Yeah, we can show you exactly how to do it, what that should feel like or look like. Yeah, we'd be happy to do that.
In the birth process. The birth process
Yeah.
is very hard on these babies. Sometimes, these mamas are pushing for hours and they are stuck on that pubic bone or stuck in the pelvis. And it's so important to get them checked right away because with our tools here, we can figure out where the root problem is coming from and make sure they're getting better. Because unfortunately, these babies don't talk. They can't tell us where they're feeling the tension. And so we have the tools to measure the heat, see the inflammation, and get rid of that root problem.
Yeah, and not just with vaginal delivery, with C-sections too. A lot of times in C-sections, babies are pulled out by their head and their neck. That's going to be about 90 pounds of axial pressure. That's a lot on a little baby's neck, and so that can cause some issues too. So, all of these things are necessary to get the baby out of the womb and earthside with us, but there are implications that we do see and things that we need to check to make sure that we prevent these sort of issues from happening.
Yeah, I always say, no matter how chaotic or how smooth labor and delivery is, it's still one of the biggest transitions for baby. So just being able to, have us on your team to be able to check through all of these newborn processes so that we can hopefully even prevent it from happening in the first place is so important.
And it's so important to correct that problem. Right now we're talking about torticollis, which is that neck tension and that flat spot. But you leave it there, eventually these kids will start having ear, nose, and throat issues because those are the same nerves that make your ears drain. Your first line of defense is your ear, nose, and throat. So yeah, we're talking about torticollis and flat spots right now, but you leave it and not take care of the root problem later down in the road, they will definitely start having those ear, nose, and throat issues.
Awesome. Don't we have a card on torticollis that we
Yes,
usually
we
use?
do. Always. We have a little card that you can just keep handy if you ever just need to pull it out. Remind yourself that you're doing all of these things. It's everything we just talked about. Chiropractic care, tummy time every weight period, purposeful play on the opposite side, rotate head every time they lay down on the back.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us for Mom Talk, guys. We'll see you guys next time.